This is Brian here from Tottenham Away, and this is my best 11 for the 2021 season. I will start with Martinez in goal for Aston Villa. Fantastic season. 20 goals less conceded for Villa this season. I know that their defense was quite good, but I have to give a lot of that credit to Martinez. Absolutely fantastic keeper. Really, really good shot stopper, and his positioning is really good on corners. Deals with the ball at his feet pretty well as well. Not as many clean sheets as Ederson, but I mean he's not playing for Manchester City, so you'd expect that. So for me, Martinez, I'm going to go to the right side of defense. Kyle Walker, fantastic this season. Looks way more mature, and I mean I guess that comes with age. At 29 years old, he looks better with the ball at his feet. He looks incredibly confident in his passing, and of course his pace hasn't gone yet. And you'd expect him at 29 for that to maybe wane a bit, but it hasn't. He's still up to snuff at the highest level and in the best defense in the league. And on that note, best defense in the league, you got to go with Diaz in the middle and Stones beside him. Now, I want to say this. Diaz has come in. He's 22, 23. He's playing above his level as far as his age is concerned, especially at center half. Typically, that position, the maturity levels come later on. But in this case, he's just absolutely fantastic. And I put next to him John Stones because John Stones, next to Diaz, looks like the John Stones we had seen previously a few years back when John Stones first came on the scene. That defensive pairing for a period of time just past Christmas when they started really playing well were just unbeatable, unbelievable, very, very good, solid partnership there. So I have to give them both that position, unfortunately. On the left side of defense, I'm going to give it to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, just new life in his career, essentially. This is a player who, under Mourinho, looked like he was on his way out. They brought in a new player to play left back in his position, and then he just flourished. He just looks like the player that was at Southampton under Pochettino, and for good reason, is in the England team this coming Euros. So wonderful player this season and looked really, really solid. It was a tough one. There's a couple other players, Robertson in there, but I didn't put Robertson because he's it was a little iffy on the Liverpool season. Not his fault necessarily, but the injuries and everything else that plagued Liverpool also plagued him and his statistics and arguably just their defense across the board because of the injuries they had. So it didn't make it. In the center of midfield, I'm doing a 4-3-3, by the way. I should have mentioned that. Center of midfield, I've got KDB. I don't think I have to really explain this too much now. He didn't play the whole season, but when he started playing, the effect he had on that Manchester City's midfield and what he was able to do was just unbelievable. And his passing is unbelievable. And I mean, Kevin De Bruyne to me, arguably the second best player in the league. I'll get to the first, and I'm sure you'll probably know who I'm going to talk about because this is a Spurs channel after all. And of course, in a 4-3-3, unfortunately, I mean, I put Bruno Fernandes probably in the same position as KDB, but because I can pick who I want, I'm picking Bruno Fernandes on the right side of KDB. Goals and assists are everywhere for this guy. Calm in front of the net when it comes to penalties, of course, which we know United get a ton of them. But I think the most important thing for him and for United and why he's had such an effect isn't just the statistics, but it's his leadership, his conversation on the pitch, his motivation, his energy. He's always yelling at players in a positive way, always trying to get them going, and then trying to ensure there's no errors being made with the players around him. So incredibly important to that United side. I honestly think you take him out of that United side doesn't finish second. I think they'd be lucky to be in the top four if it wasn't for him. So the effect he's had on that squad and the club itself is incredible. Next for me, and this is a weird one because you could play him up front in the front three, but I put him in the three in the midfield because he's featured in that position somewhat for Chelsea, and that's Mason Mount. Mason Mount, 22 years old, wonderful player, really good on the ball, makes incredibly smart decisions with the ball at his feet. Passing's very good, shooting pretty good. He's young, he's getting better at it, and I just feel like for a player of that age in a team that has just brought in, I think they spent £250 million, and they bring in all those players, and this is a kid coming through the youth, and he just looks the part. He looks the part. He looks like one of their best players, if not their best player. So I've chucked in Mason Mount. In my front three, this I'm going to save the best for last because I think that's appropriate. I got Mo Salah on the right. Now, in a team that struggled for much of the season, Mo Salah still with second most goals to Kane, and a number of assists as well. Just no matter how good or bad that team played this season, he always stood out. He was always there with a goal and an ability to drag his team through. So Mo Salah for me on the right. On the left, Phil Foden, another wonderful, wonderful young player. Phil Foden, watching this kid play is just it's incredible. He's a very, very solid player and wonderful to watch. His passing and shooting, his particular shooting is incredible. His finishing is amazing, and to be. I think in the position of essentially taking over for David Silva and the team not really seeing much of a difference says everything. The quality of that of Phil Foden is amazing, is immense, and of course, last but not least, actually the best player, I think the best player in the Premier League, if not in Europe, currently at the moment, is the one and only Harry Kane. Harry Kane, most goals, most assists. In a struggling Spurs side. I mean, this Spurs side struggled this season. Obviously not for goals. I think we were second most goals in the season, goals scored in the season. Of course, that doesn't count the goal differential. But Harry Kane, just the effect he has on the pitch, the players making players around him better, and of course his statistics just speak louder than words. It's hard not to say that he's the best player in the world at the moment, and I think he's right on the cusp of being in that conversation, if not being in that conversation. There's Lewandowski in that conversation. Obviously, your Messis and Ronaldos are going to be in it still, but as they're aging and as we're seeing these other players come through, Harry Kane, what he did to his game this season, coming deep, assisting as many goals as he did, was absolutely incredible, and it's absolutely world class. And oh man, we're gonna miss him if he goes, guys. But thank you for listening to my best 11. I hope you enjoyed this, and cheers. We'll see you on Tottenham away, and thanks, Lily White Lane.